food. Get in. It's not that cold.
And he is provided with 8 words. 5 words in Hebrew. Only 5 words. That's all God gives him. One stinking sentence. It's not even a memo, let alone a message for these people. And worse, it sounds like a threat. Right? Jonah enters enemy territory as a prophet of God.
My heart needs a surgeon, the soul needs a friend. So I run to the Father again and again and again and again. Whoa, whoa.
So I hold this up to myself, right? And what happens? I look at myself and I can't stand what I see. I look at myself and I see my insecurity. Through the lens of the Word of God, I look at myself, I see my failures, my faults.
About you and that we learn something about ourselves. And I pray that we can all share this and have a great time tonight and for the rest of the week, and we're all safe and don't get hurt. Amen.
Amen.
Like joggers, their smoothies.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like we're adding some
Hey, I should get it because I didn't gag at it.
All right.
Drink it.
Prune juice.
That's prune.
Write it down.
It wasn't that bad.
Joking.
Oh, it's the McDonald's smoothie.
Difficult.
I don't even know what it is. I don't even see it.
I'll just say this. I'll show it. I hope you guys aren't allergic to seafood. You should clean that up.
Is it vegetable and clam juice?
Yes, it is.
Wait, I want to see what it is. Oh my gosh.
Don't disrespect cheese.
Is it for a game? What is that?
Wait, can we see?
Show the audience.
I
I feel so reassured.
You might get this.
I'm not.
Here we go.
Is it really
You
bad?
guys start first.
I don't know. You tell.
Silas, take a big old drink.
Bro, I just.
It doesn't matter.
Is it good?
No, he's on. Do I go now?
Blue.
Oh, well.
Oh, he did. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine.
Ugh.
Come on, Silas.
She knows this.
I'm not gonna try to see what it is by tasting again.
How many hints going through my head right now for Grace?
I got a good one.
I recognize it. I just can't tell what it is. Hang on. It's not good.
Agreed.
Please take another drink and then swish it around in your
It's
mouth.
really disgusting. I don't know why I recognize it.
Lily, Grace is not on our team.
She's not?
No,
I'm on red.
it's fine.
Well, whatever.
Pizza save, but again.
I already went.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys a chance to look at it and smell it.
That's not fair.
I don't know. I feel like that's fair.
Smell it.
Doesn't really actually have a
Oh, I know what it is.
What is it?
Beet juice.
It is.
Oh my god.
You're an animal.
It's her long legs.
Here, Haley and Kara.
Got the Red Bull.
Okay. Ready, set, go.
And go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Just like this, you know, just diagonal.
It's the first dance of history again.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, you guys are doing great. It's just like you guys have you guys been practicing this? Yes. Every summer. Every day. All right, that's enough.
Get set, go.
Go South.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, Lainey.
My leg. 16, 17, 18.
19. Oh, that was 18.
No, that was 18.
That was 18.
Yeah.
You literally tied.
You tied.
You guys are amazing.
Chances.
Behind you, not sideways, Grace. Behind you. You guys have to go back.
All right, smile, everybody. This morning, you know, honestly, like we do a lot of fun, just goofy things with the kids, but a lot of what you didn't see on the video is things that you can't see on the video because honestly, you know, we have students that are on their face before God, and they're weeping and crying out to God, and you know, all of us are with the kids, and so you can't get pictures and videos of those things. But as much fun as we had, we experienced God in ways that really were transformational, and you're going to hear the stories of those. So I'll go ahead and have you guys come on up. Can you give a hand for our students and our leaders? Yeah, I do want to say this. If you have little kids, like little kids, they're dismissed to Children's Church.
if you have older kids and they want to stick around and just listen, that's fine too. I don't mind. So as a parent, whatever you want. Your kids are dismissed to children's church. Otherwise, they can stick around if they'd like. But we have some incredible students. I'll say this. I've been in ministry for 12 years, 13 maybe, and our students are unlike any other students that I've had the opportunity to be around. And you're going to hear just some really incredible things that God has done this week. And as they share, I want to ask you to just maybe humble yourself, and as they're speaking and sharing what the Lord's doing with you, perhaps maybe allow the Lord to speak to your heart, and that He might, through the testimony of a young person, He might change you. So let's give it up first. Usually we save the best for last, but no, this is Libby. Everybody say hi, Libby. I always like to be awkward and like make her feel very awkward. So yeah, you ready?
If I start crying, please bear with me. This week was a very, very emotional week for me. I came into camp feeling alone, worthless, and almost like I wasn't being loved. I struggle with falling in and out of the state of depression, making myself think that self-harm would be the answer to heal the brokenness in my life. Never once turning to the Lord to ask for help. Self-harm definitely wasn't my answer. I was miserable, mad, angry, and had a heart like stone. I went to the first evening large group, and at the very end, Josh went into prayer, mentioning that if we felt alone, we should be honest and raise our hand to admit that we feel the way at least I knew I felt. I thought that it was going to be the general keep your eyes closed and admit, but what happened next was very unthinkable and very nerve-wracking. Josh asked us to open our eyes to see that we truly were not alone, and that we were not the only ones battling the things we've either gone through or are currently going through. Once I opened my eyes, I broke out in tears, but I wiped away my tears to try to hide how I truly felt. However, after a large group ended, I just sat on the steps and sobbed when people walked by asking if I was okay. I said yes, knowing the true answer in my head. But then Autumn came and asked me if I was okay, and like my usual answer, I said I was fine when it obviously wasn't the true case. Autumn didn't take fine as an answer, asking me again if I was truly okay. I didn't imagine hearing the word no come out of my mouth. Afterwards, I sat down and had a discussion with Autumn, realizing that I was in a position where I may not live to see tomorrow, hurting my body, the body that the Lord gave me, that I felt was just damaged and could not be healed. Throughout the week, I really zoned into the discussions, trying to dig a hole deep for myself to breathe. Around the third day of camp, I went outside frustrated with everything, being myself, the world, and even the people that were at camp. I unloaded so much on Julia that I myself didn't even realize I had a feeling for. After that night, though, I felt very relieved and at peace, like I had people that really related to me and what I was going through. I still had a voice that led me to be scared that people were trying to help me. I guess I don't know why I was scared. However, now I know why I was scared, and that was because I was scared to face my own truths and feelings. I feel as if God's purpose for me at camp this year was to see that I have people who are truly helping me and standing on my side. Despite the fact that there is still pain and the fact that I can come off as pushy at times, God didn't give up and used my pushiness and kept putting a new person in front of me each day, which now I understand that I can never run away from the Lord, because even when I try, He is still one step ahead of me, and He is always there no matter the circumstance. I will never forget being once told that God will always be glorified at the end of our trials.
It's going to be hard to say something after that. Oh, yeah, I'm Addie. I feel like this week at camp, you definitely got to just be honest with everyone there. You could go to anybody and know that they would help you. Like Libby said, that she could find people to share with. And I feel like that is really freeing, and it's changing. And I feel like for the first time after camp, I want to change, and I've already started. Thank you.
So this year at camp, well, the past years, I usually went into camp. It was as like a refresher to God, and after every camp, I would come out the same person that I was before. And I wanted that to be different this week, and it really was, because we had a smaller group this year, but that made it so much easier to open up to everyone. And in one of our testimonies, I think it was about one of Bob's, we can't just be hearers, we have to be doers. And faith without works is worthless. So I had to come out of this week showing my faith to everyone, and I have to bring it to the community and bring the word to my friends and everyone that I know. And when Josh asked me to step up on the second to last night, it was my call from God, saying that I needed to be a leader throughout the rest of my youth and my adulthood. And I've never really gotten a sign from God or anything, and that helped a lot. And throughout the rest of my week, it was different, and I could listen to the word, and it meant a lot more than it did before. I'm Jack, by the way. I forgot to say my name.
I am Lainey, and I agree with Jack on a lot of this, because I've known Josh, which is our leader basically, for 5 or 6 years, and he keeps on telling me how proud he is of me and how much I've grown, but I guess I've never really felt different or thought that I've changed. So again, when he called me to put together the leader appreciation, I was confused, because I was I don't think, why would you choose me for this? I wasn't part of that group. But realizing how much talking to and just God himself, just talking and praying and worshiping has changed all of us. We all have definitely grown this year, and we have all changed more than any other year, I think, combined.
Hi, my name's Bree. But first, I'd like to thank the person who ever made it possible for me to go to camp this year. This is one of the best weeks I've ever experienced. I not only got to grow closer with every single person here, but I also grew in my faith with God. Last year, the theme was multiply, and we learned how to go out into the world and disciple as many people as we could. Coming back from camp, I could just remember being totally on fire for the Lord, and that I was going to be different, and that I was going to stay on track. However, maybe 2 weeks later, that fire seemed to disappear and burn out. This year, though, I came to camp with the thought of, is this going to be the same as last year? Am I going to be on fire for the Lord and then burn out a few weeks or even days later? Am I really going to use what I'm going through and learn to change my whole life for Him? The first day of camp, those questions were answered. We were all sitting and listening to Pastor Josh preach, and even though it was the first message of the week, we all bawled our eyes out because we could feel the presence of the Lord. And I knew that this week was going to be so much different than the last camps, and I knew that I was going to be changed for good. The message that we were learning about this year was how to be authentic in our faith with Christ, even through our trials, our struggles, and our temptations. Something that really hit me hard this week was when Bob said, God loves you too much to leave you where you are. And something that I really needed to work on was sharing about myself and being vulnerable about what I was going through. But the most amazing thing that happened this week was being able to talk to everyone about those different things that we were going through and helping each other with it by praying and talking about it. We saw that we weren't alone, and that no matter what may come and try to tear us down, we will always be able to go and talk to each other and lift each other up. This year, I believe it is going to be different, and that I will not only use what I have learned to go and further into the kingdom of God, but also grow even more in my faith.
My name is Owen,
and I thought this week was gonna be the same as last year, but it was way different going into it. I didn't think I would change, and I thought it was just gonna be a little old fun thing, but I feel like I got closer to God, and it helped get all the stress off my shoulders. And I also learned to be a doer, not a hearer. And I also grew a lot of more friendships along the way, and I'm excited to go back next year.
Hello, my name is Evan Trafford, and at first I didn't want to come to camp, but then when I came, I just felt like I could get closer to God, and I had a good time going, and yeah.
Hi, my name is Kaylee. I came into this week feeling alone and scared of what was going to be ahead of me. And towards the end of the week, I felt like God had told me that I wasn't alone and that He was never going to give up on me, and that I don't have to be scared of what's ahead of me because He has my life planned out. What also helped me is all these people. They were compassionate and kind to me, especially Addie. She sat with me and she prayed with me and she helped me through even if I needed to talk. She's always there for me. So is everybody else here. And I want to thank the youth leaders too, because they really spoke to me and they helped me through everything that I was going through. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Marissa, and I feel like this week was a lot different than all the other weeks. Not only did I get closer to everyone else here, I got closer to God in my faith. And on the first night, we were already bawling our eyes out, and I feel like that really set us up for the week. And I feel like coming into this week, I was scared to disciple people and almost embarrassed. But now walking out of it, I feel like I'm confident and I can go into the world and disciple a bunch of people. And usually when I come out of camp, I'm the same person I was that I walked into it as. But I feel like this week my faith will stick with me, and you could say my fire will keep burning instead of just go out when I leave camp. And I feel like I'll remain the same person I was at camp.
Hi, my name is Kara, and I wanted to thank the people who sponsored and I was able to go. And I did learn things, and I wanted to be more a doer than a hearer, and to learn more and spread the gospel.
Hi, my name is Xander. I'm just like everyone else on the stage. I came into camp the exact same person I was in the world, and I didn't want to come out the same person I was, because I started to realize my actions, my words were not what I should be doing. They were not representing what we should be representing. And this, the first day really set it up. If you were there, you would, words can only describe so far, but really being there, you could just tell the presence of God was among all of us. And all of us were we were bawling our eyes out. We were all just crying. And it was the very first night. And that usually doesn't happen. And that really showed us that the week was going to be different. And for me, I wasn't an open person, really, as open as I am today before I came to camp. And it felt really good to just open up to the people around me about what I'm going through, what I struggle with, and it just felt really good this week. It felt like I grew closer not only to God, but the people around me. And there was this one specific instance, I'll try to keep it short, but I was the only one in the room. I was in the bedroom, ready to go to bed, and I was praying to God before I went to sleep on the air mattress. And But I was praying to God, and that day during worship, Dan had mentioned how he asked God to just take his life and make something beautiful out of it. Do with his life what he can't do with anyone else. And I felt that was something that I hadn't done. I hadn't really given my life to God before. So while I was praying, I prayed, God, I don't know what you see in me, but if you can do something amazing with my life, I want you to just take it. And just then, it was strange. It happened so fast, I don't even really know how to describe it, but it felt like something was just taken off of a hook inside of me. Just someone just took something from in me, but it felt good. It felt like some weight was just lifted right off of my shoulders. And that's what I realized. God was going to take my life and do something amazing with it that I don't think anyone could ever imagine. And that's what he's going to do with everyone on this stage. And we still have a long time on this world, a long time to change other people's lives, a long time to do the amazing things he wants us to do. And this camp was one of many that will change us and mold us into those people we are to be in the future.
I was able to join these amazing kids for the last couple days of camp, and I'm so proud of all these kids. Even I wish my faith was this strong sometimes, and seeing the walls come down and seeing their vulnerability with each other was such an amazing, beautiful sight to see. And if we as adults could have half of that, just hold on to it, it's pretty awesome. I've known a lot of these kids for a long time, and seeing them grow in their faith and taking their ownership of their faith and seeing their growth and seeing God work in them has been just an amazing experience to me. So I highly encourage you to talk to any of these kids about their experience. You know, what they're sharing here is amazing, but talk with them. They will gladly share what the Lord was working on in their lives this week, because it was a pretty amazing thing.
Hi, I'm Jason Lambert, and I just want to elaborate a little bit more on what Dawn's saying. I don't know if you guys understand how young this group is. I think Bree is our only incoming senior this year. So overall, this is a very young group, but even though they're young, they're very experienced. Evan was our only new student coming this year. So I think that is part of what led into how quickly things started happening this year. Is this group, for the most part, was all together last year at camp as well. So I think there was a comfort level of knowing that. And I got to give a shout out to some of our Hannah and Lily and like Zach Schwartz and Rain. Some of you guys that have been going to camp modeled the leadership and the vulnerability that now some of our new leaders, like some of these kids like Xander and Jack and Libby and Lainey, are stepping up into these leadership roles. And as somebody that's kind of been with this group a little while, it's really cool to see some of these kids that I saw coming in as middle schoolers, now as high schoolers, really stepping into leadership roles and growing in their faith and having a comfort and a confidence and a boldness that they didn't have when they were, the Evans coming in. But now as they're getting into high school, they're growing into that and feeling more comfortable. So I give you guys some credit for modeling that and just being good leaders for them and showing them the right way to do it. And I just want to also say, every year we have obstacles going to camp. It seems like the enemy is always wanting to throw up barriers to getting a group of kids together to focus on him for a week. And this year was no exception. If anything, this year was maybe even worse than it has been. And just the way that God pulled this together to give us Autumn, and just it's incredible to see because, 3 days before we left, Autumn was not supposed to come, but clearly she was supposed to be there this week. I mean, just based on Libby's testimony and just the way God works things out for His glory is just incredible, and He did not disappoint us and let us down again this week. It was a great trip. These kids had some amazing experiences together, and like Josh was saying, you get to see a lot of the fun things we do with them to have that fellowship, but you don't see when they're on their knees